Hello and welcome to another episode of the Williams Learning Lab. In this lesson, we'll be discussing atomic structure, the parts of the atom, and its subatomic particles. So we have three subatomic particles. The first subatomic particle is the electron. The electron has a symbol, and it's used kind of often, and it is a lowercase e, and it has a negative sign right above it, as if it were an exponent. An electron is a charged particle, and so its relative charge is a -1. It has a relative mass. We call it the mass number of 0. Now, technically, the electron does have a measurable amount of mass, but it's so insignificant that for most purposes, the electron's mass can be absolutely ignored. All right, so next, we have the proton. The proton is a positively charged subatomic particle. Its symbol is a lowercase p, and it's got a little exponent to the plus. It is also charged just like the electron, and it has a +1 charge. Now, the mass of a proton is significant, and it has a mass number of 1. Finally, the neutron. It has a symbol of a lowercase n and to an exponent of 0. I believe that's called n naught is what it would be called. And so a neutron is not a charged particle. So we would say it has no charge, or we put a 0 for the relative electric charge. It does have mass, and so it's going to have a mass number of 1, a mass for all intents and purposes equal to the neutron. So for the sake of discussion, I will show you how the electron does technically have mass, and it's been measured. And so for the electron, the mass would be an extremely small number. Right, 9.109 times 10 to the minus 31 kilograms. For the proton, if you want to know the actual specific mass, it would be 1.673 times 10 to the minus 27 kilograms. And then finally, the neutron. It is 1.675 times 10 to the minus 27 kilograms. All right, so this number is many times smaller than the proton and neutrons, so we can ignore the electron's mass. Okay? All right, so let's talk about the structure of the atom itself. So I am going to draw a model of helium atom. Helium is the simplest atom that has all of the subatomic particles. Hydrogen is more simple, but it doesn't contain neutrons. So I'm going to demonstrate this in terms of helium. Okay, so inside of what we call the nucleus of the atom, that's like the center of the atom, we will have our neutrons, and we will have our protons. Okay, this is referred to as the nucleus. And then in something called orbitals, helium only has one orbital. That is where electrons are located. And electrons spin around orbits and various orientations. Okay, so let's go ahead and just label this area right here. This is our nucleus. Nucleus contains our protons and neutrons. Okay. The nucleus also contains the mass of the atom. All right, and then right here, draw this little arrow in orange. This is the orbitals. Okay, orbitals can also be referred to as shells. Later we'll learn about the different types of orbitals, such as s orbitals and p orbitals and d orbitals and so on and so forth. But for this lesson, it's important to know that electrons orbit the nucleus. They orbit them in orbitals or shells, okay? So we'll just say it contains the electrons, and it's practically without mass. Okay, so it's important to know where the nucleus of the atom is, what subatomic particles that it contains, and then where are the orbitals of an atom and what subatomic particles it contains. Protons and neutrons are in the nucleus, so the nucleus is very positively charged. And the orbitals of an atom contain the electrons. And the electrons are really, really important because they are what are going to be doing the bonding. So when we rearrange atoms like Legos to build structures, we're going to be manipulating those electrons. All right, thank you very much for watching. If you like this content, you found any value to it, would you please like, comment, and subscribe? And have a nice day.